My name is Kim Ryan. I am a docent here at the DuBois House, and I am in the wonderful, charming dining room to give you some information about early pioneers in Florida, particularly here in Jupiter. This dining room is one of the original rooms of the house. One of the most interesting is this beautiful quilt that was made by the Historical Society in honor of the 100-year anniversary of the house in 1998. And it depicts the beginnings of the family tree of Harry and Susan DuBois. I always like to start with this picture down here because it's a wonderful picture of Harry and Susan and their 4 children. Now, all 4 children were born in this house, starting with the oldest son, John, who was born in 1899, and he was very much his father's type of person. He was an entrepreneur, he wore all sorts of hats, he had all sorts of skills like his father did. John was a master seaman, a master fisherman like his father was. He was the first electrician in Jupiter. He ran fishing tours for the wealthy tourists from Palm Beach. He used that option. He and his wife, Bessie DuBois, who was an icon unto herself. She was an icon when it came to documenting and writing about the history of this area and this family. He and Bessie actually had a wonderful restaurant that, again, Palm Beach people would come all the way up here to eat at Bessie's wonderful restaurant, including her famous pies that she had. But he was also one of the first commissioners on the Jupiter Inlet. And my favorite thing that he did was he was a constable during the Prohibition era. So he chased people as they were trying to get alcohol into the inlet at night. Kind of an interesting mix of talents that he had. The second son was Henry, and you saw probably before the diploma that he had. He was one of the few that graduated from high school. He chose to do that. He was an expert on growing ferns. This was a lucrative business here in early Florida. You could ship them up north and people could get greenery in their house. So this was a lucrative business, and they said he wouldn't talk much, but if you mentioned the word fern, he could go on for hours. The third child born in this house was the only daughter, Anna, and Anna is the only one who did not stay on this property. She was also very much like her mother. She was independent, she was spirited, she was adventuresome. She's the only one that went to college. She went to what we now call Florida State. At that point, it was a women's university, and she graduated, and in the spirit of her independence, she horrified her father by coming home with a college friend, and they wore a one-piece bathing suit in Jupiter. Father was horrified. Independent woman, she married a World War I veteran. And finally we had Neil, and like all the other DuBois family, they all had something they really, really were good at. For Neil, it was he took over the bee business, the apiary business that the family had, part of that whole concept of orange blossom honey. Now I'm going to walk over here because we're going to end with one of the questions about what was life like to be a Florida pioneer, to live in early Florida. And you're going to hear more of that, but here in the dining room we have something that is a reflection of that, something we can think about. And this is the pie safe. How do you store food? There was no electricity until 1919, so food storage was an issue. This was specifically made for that. We had a supply ship would come in once a month that they could get stocks of things, lard or flour, and then they would have to store it. Now you'll notice we have very small screening here. Keep the bugs out, always an issue in Florida. They would actually put kerosene at the base of the legs to keep bugs out. Definitely Florida. That's our lovely house. We would love you to come and feel the charm of it yourself, and we would welcome you. Hope to see you soon.